you remember how Black Friday used to be?
Mm-hmm.
Like how it was more of like an event. Like you would go home, for Thanksgiving, eat your turkey feast or whatever, blah blah blah, and then the next day you'd wake up super early or like at midnight. You would go. People would go camp and stuff. Like, and then you would see, like, I remember I was watching like an old video like on IG of like people buying like a PlayStation. Like they're number one in line at Best Buy buying a PlayStation. They're hella excited and stuff. But I feel like that kind of magic is even gone now, bro. Like, because the way consumerism is and everything's all online. They have a Black Friday week. They don't even have days anymore, bro. It's like a whole week. So they start like the first day of Thanksgiving week, and then they kind of lead it on into the Cyber Monday deal. So I feel like even that magic is kind of gone, where you kind of go to the store at midnight and stuff like that.
I miss the days of hearing old women fighting over towels.
Yeah, that too. Or
now you don't have that.
Mm-mm.
I bought some stuff, right, like clothes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like shoes, because they were marked down pretty decent from where I found them. But instead of that, besides that, I was mainly investing in my money. Did you see Bitcoin broke 100,000?
We were talking about that at the gym the other day.
Yeah.
At the fighting gym, we were talking about crypto. I forgot to tell you, actually, on Tuesday. Tuesday, we were talking about crypto. Yeah, everybody was kind of... Even Coach was talking about crypto. Coach was like, damn, you guys see Bitcoin?
See?
Yeah, dude.
I remember the last conversation we had. You weren't a believer now.
Yo.
See, this is where it's worse now. Because now everybody, since they're seeing it go up, now they're feeling like they're missing out. And then they're going to start jumping in.
And then they were talking about XRP too. One of the guys was like, "Yeah, bro, XRP." I was like, I got into the conversation with them too,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Dang, I didn't know you guys were all into this." And they're like, "Oh yeah." I feel like it's becoming more mainstream, if that's the right word to use.
Yeah.
Like it's catching on.
The crazy.
Everybody's trying to get on it. Like it's like new generation. Like stocks are for older heads, like like other people, but I feel like now the new generation is starting to get into is catching along with crypto. So
it goes back to the previous conversation we were saying, where I was saying that stocks, it's a slow way to make money now. Nobody wants to make slow money the way things are headed. So now, like, making fast money, but that's why, like, when you're trying to make fast money, you fall for traps pretty easy too, because now people are doing rug pulls.
Yeah.
They're making their own coins and doing rug pulls. But yeah, there was a lot of people I was telling back in March, even before March. First, I was telling people to look into it. First I was telling people, like, start, like, investing, considering crypto. And then March came and the prices started going up. I was like, all right, now you guys should really watch that shit. And then nobody talked about it. And now Bitcoin started going crazy. Now, like, I'm starting to notice more people are
buying it.
They're starting to actually, like, pay attention to it. And now they're like, people are getting into the market because they're feeling left out.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I stress to people, like, you got to catch the trend before you feel like you're going to miss out. Because sooner or later, you're going to feel the effects of that.
Yeah.
And there's no denying it. But yeah, Bitcoin broke 100 grand. I was telling people it's going to go past 100 grand because I was watching these other people that did research, such as Michael Saylor, people like that. And they were all, they all had good cases of why Bitcoin was going to go up. And now it actually happened. That's the crazy thing. Within this year, it broke to 103,000, which is insane. And XRP got out the SEC block, whatever. I was considering buying it, but the case kind of sketched me out. I should have bought it, but it's never late. I ended up buying some anyways.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Yeah, so I bought some of that. So I'm pretty chill with my crypto file. I just want to make hella money off of the crypto shit. It'd be sick. Reinvest it.
Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna end up buying some XRP.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy some. I feel like just with the wave that it's going right now, it's only gonna get more expensive.
Yeah.
Especially if people start catching on. More people start catching on, like the regular folk.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna actually start. I'm gonna put some money into it.
Mm-hmm. That's the cool thing about crypto. It's hella cheap right now, and it's like new.
Yeah.
It's not like companies like where it's Microsoft or Google or Nvidia.
No, I feel like the biggest difference is that a company I feel like in a way a company controls their stock price because a company can do buyback. you know, and keep the price of the stock low.
Or when they dilute the shares.
When they dilute the shares, so they keep their price low, but they're also having more common stock out there, and it raises the price on the you know the other stock. But in I feel like in the crypto market, it's not based on a company. It's more of how popular the coin is or how unpopular the coin is, you know? So it can change like this. So you can become rich on it, or you can become hella poor on it. So it's definitely a gamble, but
that's why you got to see it all comes down to hype. Even
Yeah.
stocks is the same way. It's basically hype.
yeah, it is hype.
Everything's hype. Like even the reselling game, you're basically buying and reselling hype. That's just the
Mhm.
basic concept if you break it down. But supply and demand, you know, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
2025, get ready. It's going to be an insane year for crypto. Like right now, you guys can go back, look at my video. I've been watching so many people talking about this shit. Everybody says 2025 is going to go crazy. If it doesn't go crazy, there's something behind the scenes like holding it back.
Yeah, XRP's at 240.
Yeah. The altcoin season hasn't arrived yet, so it's going to get crazier.
I remember I had Dogecoin as well.
Yeah,
Shiba Inu, I had that.
I have that.
Mm.
Bonk, I have Bonk. I'm trying to get Pepe.
This one right here.
Pepe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it dips down, I'm going to get some. Speaking of shareholders and all that, I was watching The Boys, and they show a lot of this stuff that goes on in the background, like the government, about these companies, how they do things based on how much profit they can make from stockholders and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they put things, and like it's like the stuff they're trying to expose is out there. You just got to be willing to read between the lines. I was like,
Yeah.
man, like people that are just watching the show that don't know about this stuff is flying over their head. But if you know what they're talking about, then you understand. It's like one of those things. If you know, you know.
I'm gonna start watching that show.
Yeah, just get ready because it's a weird ass show, bro. The story is pretty sick.
Yeah, I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, so like, you know, all these it shows like how superheroes would be in real life.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, like you know how like in movies and stuff, it shows heroes as good people. Like they do everything for the benefit of humanity. But these superheroes, they do good on the outside, but behind the scenes, they're doing evil shit.
Evil stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and they like try to hide it because they want to look good in the public eye.
So, for example, question: if you had the opportunity to become a superhero like that, but you also were able to do some things behind the scenes, like in the dark, to kind of benefit you, would you do it?
Nah,
You would just stay pure and clean?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'd only use my powers to like make me money, like an ethical way.
I feel like I do the same thing, but at the same time, I think I would try to at least like say for example, right? Like if you go catch a bad guy and then they have like a big ass like house or you know like a hideout, I would take the hideout for myself to try to have at least a hideout in over here, accessible, you know, like so if I'm staying over on that side of the country and I'm over there, I would have that hideout. And then if I had to go up over here on this side country, I would have a hideout there. You know, kind of like that. Just that aspect. But like the money stuff, nah, I'm not going to keep it for myself.
But the show's concept is cool. It's like they're not really in the show. They're not saying that the powers or people with power are evil. It just shows that
they're corrupt.
It just amplifies that person's character.
Oh.
It just shows like how like people want to be worshipped or they want to worship something, and then like if you worship someone or something like that, it just gets to their ego.
Yeah.
Or like
it makes them feel like a god.
Yeah, you know that saying they have like people. You'll become what people think of you.
People think of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like basically like that. But on that note, there's another great show, The Penguin. I like The Penguin a lot better. Honestly, The Penguin was hella better than that show.
The Penguin was good.
What'd you think of it?
It was good. Hey, but before we move on, you heard about the whole Nancy Pelosi thing, huh? Her going behind bars?
Yeah, they're saying that they're gonna go after her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because since we were talking about politics and corruption.
Was I talking to you about that? Oh no, I was telling somebody
No, you
else.
were telling somebody else, but I just found
Yeah.
this shit out, dude.
Yeah, they're going after her.
That's not cool, you know, especially if you're in high power like that. You have the accessibility to look at companies and stocks, especially if, you know, your husband or, you know, your spouse does that. That's not right, dude. It's to your own benefit, you know.
Yeah, or like they can have a sit down with the company. The company can tell them like approve us for this and that, or get us in here.
And we'll, you know,
Yeah.
we'll throw you some shares.
Yeah.
You know, supposedly that the governor also does that too. You know that, right?
Newsom?
Yeah, he was doing that with PG&E rates. Like PG&E rates went up because of him,
I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
he was making money on it.
Oh, I didn't know. I wouldn't be surprised because he's related to Nancy Pelosi. They're all in
related,
this
yeah.
dirty game.
Yeah. Why do you think he made $2 million in 1 year? And
I
that's
saw
not
that.
from,
I
and
saw
that's
that.
not from politics, bro. That's not from politics.
Yeah.
That's from freaking deals outside of politics.
You remember how they used to tell us when we were kids, oh, these politicians don't make shit?
No, yeah, I remember when they used to tell, dude.
They lied to our faces.
They lied to our faces, bro.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Well, you know what irritated me is that, and I always looked up to politicians. You know, like I've always like, you know what? Like when I grow up, I want to be a politician. That's what I would say. You know, like I want to help out my community and stuff. And so I took poli-sci. I try to do a lot of little things, you know, like to try to get myself into, like, you try to like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll try to run for local office one day. But dude, once I started getting into it and looking into it, bro, it's a big ass scam, bro. I was like, I don't want to be caught in this. Like, then when they said, you know, when one of my professors said, oh yeah, they don't make a lot, this and that, and I was like, well, fuck that, you know, I don't want to do that. And then years later, I started looking into stuff, and I'm like, dude, how are these politicians making this much money? Especially presidents, bro. Presidents be making hella money, not because of they're in office, but because of the deals that that they put their family members on and put their money in blind trust. But there's no such thing as a blind trust, because you're telling your son or your wife or whatever to go invest over here and put that money over there. So when you're out of office, you're set. You got hella money.
I saw a chart where it shows before and after presidency how much they make after they're president. They're just money shoots up.
Their money, yeah. I seen the same chart. You remember? I don't know if your teachers ever showed you this in high school or whatever, but you remember the charts they used to show us as far as like what careers made what money, and it was like lawyers and doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like athletes and whatever, and then at the end it was like politicians, then whatever, like school teachers and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, nah. The politicians are not there, bro. They're over here, dog.
Yeah, they're at the top.
They're at the top because they control all of the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I call bullshit.
And that's what that show, The Boys shows.
I'm gonna start watching it.
Yeah, it's kind of subtle.
Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of corruption, a lot of corruption going on in that Penguin show.
Penguin was sick,
Yeah.
bro. Hands down, probably the show of the year, bro.
I think my favorite part was when she calls out the cop for corruption and he kind of just does a smirk and fucking walks away. That was.
Oh, the guy with the voice, with the low voice. Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, because she was saying how they were, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They're saying that she was saying how the Falcone family had him under
the payroll.
Yeah.
She goes, "Are you just here to?" She goes, "What did she say?" She goes, "How are you? How is the lieutenant or the top brass here? Are you guys just here to make sure that you guys' pocketbooks are still aligned with somebody else in charge, or are you guys really care about the investigation?"
So what did you like about this show?
So, again, I don't want to give out any like as much spoilers as I, you know.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think what I liked about the show was how it shows Penguin's rise, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Like where he started off as, how he came to be, because I think, like I told you, like after I watched the show, like in any Batman, I think every Batman show or anime or cartoon or whatever, or movie, the only thing they ever talk about is the Batman and how he becomes the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't really ever talk about the origins of Joker that much either, or any of the other villains. They just show how he came to be, right?
Oh, they just show him when they're at the villain stage.
They're at the villain stage. They don't show it. So this is cool because you're seeing an outside perspective of how this villain has came to be. Just like how they have the show Gotham. Gotham is the rise of Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, exactly. And then sometimes they show you how Scarecrow comes to be, like in one of the Dark Knight, the first Dark Knight movie, whatever, the Batman Begins. How he's just like he's a doctor, but he's also, he becomes Scarecrow, and then he impersonates him and stuff like that. Riddler, I remember they showed the beginning of Riddler back in Batman Forever. That was like in a early 2000s movie.
Yeah.
With George Clooney and stuff. And they show that. It's one of the Tim Burton movies, I think. They show the beginning of that, but that was it.
Yeah.
They don't show any of the other ones until they are actually like the villain. So I liked it from that aspect because it shows you how Penguin became to be and how hungry he is for power. I think in the show, they almost try to make him seem like a good guy, or like a modern day Robin Hood, because he starts off at the bottom, and then he slowly starts helping people around him, like all the poor, like the people where the neighborhoods he grew up in. So I think that's cool how they make him look like that. But at the end of the day, he's still a villain, man. And I thought it was crazy how fast it took him to backstab Vic, like for how I feel like in a way I had expected that, but at the same time I was like, nah, I think he's gonna keep him around, especially if there's another season. But then it kind of clicked. I'm like, as soon as he said family, I was like, nah, he's not gonna be around, because Penguin never has a sidekick, and he's never had a sidekick in any of in the movies or shows that I remember watching growing up. So, but I thought that was hella like dark how he just kind of just betrays him just like that on the spot. But I still think about my theory about how Vic got the lieutenants to kind of betray their mentors,
their mob bosses.
So I think in the back of Penguin's mind, he thought Vic was gonna do the same thing to him. So I don't know, but overall it was a good show, bro. I liked it.
I think he just did it because that's his nature.
That too.
But I think the show did a great job of showing like how someone's nature doesn't leave them. Like
No.
it has you rooting for the Penguin, but it even foreshadows like what he's gonna do and how he is, and it blatantly points out that he's not a good person and he'll backstab people, but it still gets the viewers to get on his side, and then at the end it all ties together.
And then it disappoints you at the end of
yeah. At the end it just shows you, it makes a great point. I think that ending, even though I didn't like the ending, it was like the, what do they call it, the cherry on top, because it magnifies his character. It shows like how he can't be trusted no matter what, and all these people are saying that, but like you really feel it because you catch yourself getting on his side. But then the Vic incident happens, and then it changes your mind about everything, about who the actual villain was. It has you rooting against Sophia in the beginning, but then at the end you're like, damn, she was onto something.
Yeah.
And they should have got to him, because then it just shows him, because it has him appealing to the people that feel like they're being stepped on.
Mm-hmm.
And he tries to make people feel sorry for him, but at the end of the day, he's a snake, and he'll do whatever it takes to come to power.
Yep.
To not even survive, just like get everything. He wants everything. So he goes against everybody's wishes. Like there's a scene where they're telling him to tell the truth about what happened, I think in his childhood.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, we're gonna hurt your mom, but he was gonna let her get hurt.
He was gonna let her get hurt, and in order to hide the truth from him.
Exactly. So it just shows his character. But like with Vic, honestly, I thought he was gonna either, like after his mission was done, I thought he was gonna go with his lady to California, I think, and then either that or I thought he was gonna get killed in action, fighting against the other guys. But I didn't expect the Penguin twist.
Mm-mm.
I didn't expect it at all, if I'm being honest.
No.
But Cause like that whole speech he gives in the club, when he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you can go," but
Yeah.
he's like, "I believed in you." That's the part that like sold me on that Penguin wasn't gonna like kill him.
Yep.
That's what made me think he wasn't gonna do it. But at the end, like that shit was crazy. And then Sophia got it even worse. Like she thought she was finally
She
free.
thought she was gonna die.
Yeah, she was gonna be free from all the suffering and stuff. She didn't even want the crime family money or
Mm-mm.
anything, but she got thrown back where she.
In the loony bin.
Yep, where she lost it.
I still think that psychiatrist in that show is gonna become the Scarecrow.
Yeah,
I think so. Honestly, I think so.
that would be pretty
that,
crazy.
And I think it might. I mean, and it's just my prediction, but I think that might lead us into the next show after after the second Batman movie that they have.
Yeah. But like you said, I like how it shows like from the villain's perspective of like them growing up, because none of the characters have had like flashbacks or anything like that explaining how they came to where they were. So I hope they make more shows like
that.
Yeah, with the villain backgrounds or like how they're getting where they're getting at, and.
Well, I mean, in a certain way, I want it to be like you said, like how it shows the villains. I want more shows like that. But I don't want to have that cliche of like the Joker, because I feel like we've already got saturated with the Joker so much. I mean, he has his own movie. You know, he has 2 movies I think now. There's another movie coming out, but it would be nice to see. Well, I mean, I know some of the origins of Mr. Freeze because of the earlier movies, but it would be nice for them to bring him back. Obviously, the Riddler would be. Well, we just had the Riddler actually, so no. But yeah, Mr. Freeze would be cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Catwoman, that too, which is Selena Kyle. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see other villains on the show, you know.
Yeah.
So Poison Ivy.
Yep.
Yeah, bring her back. I know the origins of that too because of the other movies and stuff. But
I want to see Bane.
Bane would be cool
if they did it right.
Yeah, Bane would be nice. But yeah, you know, Ra's al Ghul in the Lazarus pits, that would be nice too to see. But
yeah, they did a spectacular job with the show.
I think so.
I didn't skip anything.
No, I didn't either, man. And I didn't think at any point it was boring either, because there was always even the points where there was talking, it didn't feel like it was just garbage. It felt like it was actually
felt like they were straight to the point.
It was straight to the point, but then it hooked you for the next scene.
Yep.
You know, so like it wasn't one of those shows that it's stupid talk.
Yeah.
To just kind of like fill the show. It was more of like talking because it was part of the
yeah, it wasn't pointless. It was actually leading to something.
Going to somewhere. And even the flashbacks that he had, like the flashback where they go and they he goes back as a kid and he's walking down the street with his brothers and they see the gangster.
Yep.
I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this is dumb. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep watching it. And I kept watching it, and it led into the bigger, you know, what happened with his brothers. So it's crazy, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy how like it shows him coming to Uprise and how there's like a lot of backstabbing. It reminds me of the news article I recently saw that the CEO of United Healthcare, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot.
I was telling a friend, I was like, dude, after like, why would you want to be CEO that long? After like what? Let's say 5 years, like you make so much money, I'll just invest and retire.
Yeah, it must be stressful too.
Yeah.
But you know what I don't understand though is like whenever you got cases like that. Well, in this case, he's obviously a big figurehead or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's all over the news and there's a manhunt and stuff like that. But you remember when the whistleblowers for what was it, American or United?
Oh, the Boeing?
The Boeing incident. Remember when the whistleblowers were getting popped off?
Yep.
No one cared about that. It was swept under the rug. It was yesterday's news after the date, 2 weeks after.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect it, but why is this guy getting so much attention for a manhunt when those other victims in the Boeing situation, like, are they not as important as this guy? You know, like maybe he's not. Maybe those other victims weren't CEOs or they run these big ass corporations, but there were still people at the end of the day exposing stuff that was going on in a big company, you know?
Yeah.
I find that crazy how people didn't go up into uproar about that. Like, how company is perfectly okay murking people just to keep their company in the green. You know, that's insane.
It's kind of like The Boys.
Yeah.
But another name, I don't know if you heard, Will Rothschild.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about him?
I know I've heard of him, but I've nothing.
He burned. They say he burned down in a house, and they didn't find his remains or something.
That's sketch. That's sketch.
You're living in a big ass house. You're part of the wealthiest families in the world, and you got like top house. Probably have sprinklers in there. How are you gonna burn?
Mm-hmm.
Some shady shit's going on, but
And not just
it
that.
happened like around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Plus, when your body burns, your bones are still there. There's some of your remains.
I thought
still
it was
there.
like your teeth.
Yeah.
Left behind.
Yeah, but like some of your remains are still there. You don't just
Mhm.
completely go into dust.
Yep.
I have a feeling he was either captured and
Maybe he faked it or dipped
yeah.
out. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened, but I gotta look into that story. I just thought it was insane.
yeah.
Like a Rothschild going down. You don't hear it that much.
No.
There's one Rothschild they said got cannibalized though.
Mm-hmm.
You heard about that one?
Yeah.
That was a crazy ass story. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on. But I was surprised about these two recent headlines. But it's like,
What about the other one? Have you heard of the other headline? The chick that from Hawaii that went to LA
oh, she went missing?
and she went missing and
Yeah,
she
I don't-
supposedly dipped into Mexico.
Yeah, what was the significance with her? Why are they making it such a big deal?
It became a big deal all of a sudden because her dad died too, which is a little sketch, bro. So check this out.
Is she part of like a rich family?
No, she's not. But tell me this isn't weird.
Mm.
So I just started following this just because I'm like, it started getting a lot weirder and weirder after it. So it first started off as like, supposedly she went with her boyfriend or her ex. I don't know. They were going on a trip together from Hawaii to LA or something, or somewhere. They got on a plane. She got to LA, and from LA, her family said that her location on her iPhone went missing. Like, it wasn't keeping track. So it was like that for like, I don't know. Family and friends came to the mainland to like look for her and handing out flyers and stuff like that, you know, trying to find her daughter. And then there was a missing persons report out, blah blah blah. Then there was investigations, and her ex, whatever, was like a witness, not a witness, but like a person of interest at that point. And then what is it, like a week later, her dad, quote unquote, jumps off a building. Doesn't that sound sketch, bro? Like, your daughter's missing and then vanishes into thin air, no one finds her, and then her dad automatically just murks himself.
Sounds weird.
That sounds weird, bro. Like,
somebody's gonna have to dig into that case.
Yeah, that sounds a little weird. And then all of a sudden, like a few days ago, security cameras or whatever catch her going into Mexico, and then the police kind of just write it off as saying, well, it turns out she was just kind of just trying to travel and escape her family and trying to do things in a normal life. And they did it, supposedly the police did a deep dive into her social media, and they said she has a lot of pictures of traveling and stuff like that, and comments saying that she wants to travel. So we're kind of just writing it off as like her just going on an adventure. But then they're like, condolences to the family and stuff like that. And then her sister gets on like an interview saying that that's not hers. Her sister wouldn't do that. Her sister supposedly is motivated, but it seems like someone's pulling the strings or motivating her. And now they're saying that it's like she's involved in like a scam, like a marriage scam or something like that. I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't know, man. I feel like there's something going on behind the scenes, like especially after that. And it was crazy because in the comment section of that video on YouTube, like the news story where they talk about her dad, everybody was like, they're like, we call bullshit. There's no way this guy all of a sudden decides to kill himself because he can't find his daughter. It seems like someone took him out, you know.
Maybe.
So I don't know. I'm gonna see kind of how that story pans out, because this is getting a little interesting for me. You know, we'll see what happens. So
yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit happening.
yeah. So I don't know.
I'll be on the lookout for new news too. Probably about to go home, watch The Boys, see how it ends.
Yeah, I started watching a new anime.
Which one?
Kaiju number 8.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
What is that one about?
It's about, so supposedly, so the kaiju is essentially, it's like they're monsters or whatever. They're all like they kind of attack like Japan or like the world pretty much, but the story is based in Japan. And so like they're all like kaiju are all ranked. You have like the weak kaiju, and then you got the strong ones, and then like they're like huge, like pretty big, kind of like, so a kaiju is like Godzilla. Godzilla would be considered a kaiju. But then in the Force, like, or whatever, like there's a story, like the story goes between, it was like a little kid and a little girl. They both want to join the Force, the kaiju Force, because they get to witness a kaiju attack when they were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so as the story progresses, the little girl from the beginning, she becomes one of the strongest people in the Force, the defense forces for the kaiju. She's like the strongest girl, and the guy is like hell, like he's super weak. All he does is the disposal of kaiju. Like he worked for a company that cleans up like the monsters and stuff like that after they get disassembled by the forces.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden he ends up, like, he was somewhere and then a kaiju goes inside his mouth, kind of like
It's like possessing him.
no, it's kind of like when Itadori eats Sukuna's fingers.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And eventually he can turn into Sukuna for a while and then go back. So the guy can do the same thing. He becomes a kaiju, which is a bad guy, and he can fight off the bad kaiju. And then in the show, there's a turning point where this girl finds out and this guy finds out, and they keep a secret, but he still, even though he can tap into those powers, he hides them, and there are times in the show where he wants to pull out his powers to help people, but he can't because he's literally the weakest guy in out of all the recruits. So he doesn't do anything. He kind of just relies on his book smarts. But then in this last episode I was just watching, which is why I was late to the gym, I was like, because I was hooked, he revealed his powers to everybody in the forces because they were about to die because everybody was drained. And they were kind of like, they were pissed at him because they were like, what the heck? Like he was classified as kaiju number 8. So supposedly when they classify you with a number, they're going to capture you, they're going to dismember your body, and they're going to turn you into weapons to fight the other kaiju. So they finally captured him, and they're studying him right now. But his team, or the team he was in, they want the forces to let him go because he's considered a good kaiju and not a bad. But the upper brass are like, there's no such thing as good kaiju. They're all bad, so they want to kill him. Yeah, it's getting interesting. There's only like, I think I have like 3 more episodes left, and then the show's over until the next season. But it was on my list for a while to watch it. I just never watched it until I saw one of my coworkers watching it. I'm like, dude, I gotta start watching this shit.
Hell yeah, that's the best time to watch, when another friend is watching it. That being said, Caballero's gonna go watch Caillou. I'm gonna go watch my other show.
Caillou.
Alright, everybody, let us know what you guys thought about the shows, or have you guys seen the shows, or what do you guys recommend watching? But see you guys next time.